You know what would be better than watching this commercial? Watching your commercial. Join the party that is Make Your Day Richer TV by advertising your brand, business, or project during the show. Use us to promote what you're doing to make our viewers' day richer. Scan the QR code or visit makeyourdayricher.com/advertising to start promoting today.
Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Well, hi everyone. Welcome to our program that has 105,000 views and downloads. Thank you. Now's the perfect time to press that share button and help us get to 106,000. I can't believe it. The goal was to get to 100 by the end of the year, and here we are on the second day at 105. Amazing. And starting on Monday, every day, Monday through Friday, we could bring you one guest who could make your day richer. And starting on Monday, we're bringing 2 guests per day to make your day richer. We have the cutest. Do you see her? She's going home today. We've had her for two weeks. That is Annie. And Annie really doesn't allow you to do anything by yourself. And she is the biggest cuddle bug. She's so sweet. I wish we had a camera over here because she's staring at me. Okay. So yes, 2 guests starting on Monday every day, which is just fantastic. And we thank PodMatch for helping us make that possible. So thank you. So yesterday's show was a brand new show. However, it was pre-recorded, like this time as I'm live right now here at 10:01 on the 2nd. And yesterday was pre-recorded, but it was a brand new show. So we had New Year's Eve, obviously, and we had a little party at our house, like 4 or 5 people there. Everyone left at 12:01. Perfect. It is the 2nd, and because I like to be honest with everybody, I am still hungover. How is that possible? I don't know. Is it because I'm 40? Is it because I don't really drink that often? And so it feels like since I turned 40, when I do drink, no matter what I drink, I had beer. That's all I had. I hung over for days. This is day 2 of being hungover. I did, however, make it to the gym this morning. So thank you for ISI for charging me if I didn't show up, because I did go to the gym this morning. But let me tell you, it is going to be a struggle today. I'm excited to go to bed tonight, sleep. So the dog that we've been watching has also been sleeping in the bed, which our dog doesn't do that because she's a 100-pound Great Pyrenees, but this one will sleep in the bed. And so you don't sleep that great. I don't know how people do that, or like sleep with their kids in the bed. No, thank you. So I'm excited to get a real sleep tonight after the day is done. All right, shall we just get to the show? Because we have a really good show today. So let's get to it, shall we? David McBee is a testament to the power of resilience. He has faced life's challenges head-on using books, positivity, and a deep sense of gratitude as his guides. He's the author of Everyday Lessons Every Day, right there on your screen. There we go. Perfect. He's also the author of Tales from the Trails and DJ's Off-Road Adventures, which is a kid's book. It's great. Join us for a conversation that will leave you feeling empowered and ready to tackle everything. Please welcome David McBee. David, you have like a little mini library is really what you've created for yourself. Did you always want to be a writer and author when you were growing up?
Never. That was never on the list.
What did you want to be?
I wanted to be Tom Cruise.
Ah.
Yeah, I went to school for theater, believe it or not.
So did I.
Yeah, I see that in you. I see that. I hear that in your energy. You have a theater energy.
I never went to theater parties in college because I thought theater people were weird. But like where did you go to college?
Here in Kansas City, where I live, I went to a small local college.
All of my like theater friends would go out to like restaurants and pretend to get engaged, pretend to break up. Like everything was very dramatic. And I was like, that's too much for me. So I would go to just the regular house parties and get drunk in the basement like a normal.
I had a couple of buddies who, if they went to the movies and they didn't like the movie, they would pretend to get in a fight so they could get kicked out.
Oh my God. Instead of just walking out of the theater.
It was just fun to, create a commotion.
Yeah, why not? Did you go down that route for a while? Like, did you do theater? Did you?
I did it for about 5 minutes. After college, I got cast as Eeyore in Winnie the Pooh.
Mhm.
And after 60 performances, I was like, I don't want to do this. Nobody tells you that in theater you have to just do the same thing over and over and over and over. Because in school you do what, 3 or 4 presentations, and then you tear down the set and you build a new one, right? And I loved that. But after doing Eeyore, like for the 14th, 15th time, I was like, feels like a job.
And you were like, I've got 50 more of these to do.
Yeah, and I think I thought about those actors on Broadway who were doing, at the time, like Phantom of the Opera was huge, right? And I thought, man, they did that. They've done it for years. Like, that sounds awful to me.
Mine was I didn't want the pressure of screwing up for everybody else. Like I realized quickly, I'm not good at memorizing things, and that is important in live theater.
It sure is. Yeah.
And my goal as like a kid was like, well, just become famous. I'll be Tom Cruise, and then I'll get a talk show. Like my end goal was always talk show.
Have you seen these game show things that are out, and like you can go rent them for the night and go play a game show?
Yeah, we were. Yes. There's one 20 minutes from my house, and I applied to work there.
And
I was like, you guys need a host, right? And well, it was like during a time when it was like their slow season, so they weren't hiring. But I guess right after this is what I'm gonna have to hook up with them again. And
you need to go apply again. Yeah.
I love that you have books for adults. You have books for kids. When did you decide that you wanted to start writing?
So my very first book is a book called Everyday Lessons Every Day. And I wrote that as kind of a personal therapy for myself. I was struggling with some anger issues, and I was not the best husband or father at the time. I was really losing my temper at the smallest things. My OCD was just driving my actions. I was very, very focused on my career and work. And like my kids just didn't know which dad to expect. Was it going to be the fun, cool dad today? Or was it going to be the, oh my gosh, I left my shoes out and he's screaming his head off dad, right? And one day I was going off on a trip, and my family said goodbye to me in this very professional, curt kind of manner, like, bye dad, like no one was sorry to see dad go because dad had been a nightmare. And I'm on the plane and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to lose them. I'm not the husband and father I should be. And I grew up in my 20s. I read a lot of self-help books to help me with my entrepreneurial journeys. How to Win Friends and Influence People, the power of positive thinking, things like that, right? So I said, how do I solve this problem? And I decided to dive into books and start reading about relationship maintenance and how to be a better father. I was reading books about teenagers. I had read The 5 Love Languages, just so many good books. Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And as I'm reading these books, I'm learning these lessons and I'm having experiences. So I decided to write about them. And so each chapter is like a new lesson that I learned from the books and how it turned my life around. And I kind of did it for myself. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to publish this because I know other people are struggling with this same scary demon inside of them. And I want people to know that reading really helped me overcome it. Maybe it can help them.
What was that like to kind of put your life out there like that and to be vulnerable and to be open and honest, especially from the male perspective, which is, sometimes kind of swept under the rug and we're not allowed to talk about that?
Um, I've always been kind of an open book. I'm very transparent. I'm a very candid person. I'm just honest to a fault. Sometimes it gets me in trouble. And I don't know, I just felt like it needed to be shared and that it might help some people because it helped me so much. And that was really my goal, was to help people. And I did get some positive feedback like, "Oh my gosh, I'm angry like that too. I never you knew you were." And I was like, "Yeah, because I'm
Mm.
always very positive, outside of my home." And so I got a lot of good feedback like that. And then other people were like, I can't believe you told people all that. And I'm like, what are they going to do? Judge me, not be my friend?
Mhm.
That's if that's
Mhm.
the way they are. I don't want that person to be a friend. So I just wanted to help people.
How did your family life change? I don't want to get like too personal, but like you made such a conscious effort and decision. How did that family dynamic change?
I had been so poor to them for so long that even though I knew I was changing, they weren't sure. They were like, "Are you messing with me? Are you gonna trigger
Mm.
here soon?" So it took a long time actually for them to realize, yes, I'm changed. I am changing. I'm working on myself, and I'm trying to be better. But over the years, definitely, it's like when I read that book now, I don't even recognize that guy.
Wow. What have you heard, like reviews from people who are outside of your circle about the help that it has done for them?
Yeah, a lot of couples tell me that it was ideal for their marriage. There were so many relationship books that I leaned heavily into at the time and shared those stories. And I would hear people say, this. I had one couple for sure say this saved my marriage. Absolutely. So, if I never sell a single book, if no one ever reads it again, if I saved a marriage, like that was worth
Yeah.
everything. I saved my marriage and I saved somebody else's marriage in the process. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, worth it. Worth every piece of that, I suppose. Were
Yeah.
you nervous putting that book out, like to for public consumption?
I was. I was. And in fact, a lot of my friends bought the book as a show of support. And the ones that didn't say anything to me, I mean, I know that maybe they didn't like it or they thought I was crazy for putting it out. Um, one friend, I was really, really eager for her feedback, and she just never talked to me about it ever.
Mm.
And I was like, yeah, she didn't like it. So that hurt a little bit, but I didn't write it for her.
Yeah, yeah. You also have switching topics and kids, a series for children, which I love. How did
Yeah,
that come
the
about?
DJ's Off-Road Adventures. That one snuck up on me too. I never even planned to be a children's author.
I would, and it's a series. So how did that begin? And I know you love the outdoors because you have also Tales from the Trails, which I think is a great like brand you've created for yourself.
Thanks. The children's book was kind of like divinely inspired, to be honest with you. I've been a Jeep guy my whole life. I've been driving Jeeps since I was 16, but I've been driving Jeeps in Kansas or Missouri, the Midwest. And then a few years ago, I got this really nice Rubicon Jeep, and I was lifting it, putting big tires on it. And that's about the time that Instagram was really, really coming along. And I was like, oh my God, look at these places people take their Jeeps, like on the edge of a cliff, looking down over Mos Eisley's on Tatooine. I'm like, that exists. And so I was like, I really want to go to these places. And one day I was at the shop where my Jeep was getting worked on, and this guy approached me and he said, is that your blue Jeep in the back? I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah, my roommate Dave is the guy, putting the lift kit on it. And I was wondering if you wanted to come to my wedding. Your reaction is exactly what mine was. Like, who are you? What are you talking about? And then he went on to explain that he and his fiance were getting married at the top of a mountain in Colorado, and only Jeeps could get there. And he is looking for people to help bring guests to the top of the mountain, like the photographer and family, friends, and all that. And I was like, okay, I'll go. And I went, and when you get above that tree line in a Jeep and you're from Kansas, it's very high. You know, I
Mm.
was nervous. Then after the wedding, we went out to Moab, Utah, and he took me on this trail called Hell's Revenge. And
No.
the entrance to Hell's Revenge is like driving up a sandworm on dune. Like be like driving up the back of a
Uh-huh.
sandworm, like huge drops on both sides. Maybe not the kind of drop that would kill you, but it would mess you up pretty bad. And it's not even flat. So I'm driving my Jeep up this trail and I'm like, are we allowed to be here? We're like, this isn't a road, this isn't a trail. And I had a massive panic attack.
Mm.
Like massive. And I was so embarrassed. I put the car in park. I thought I was going to pass out. And then all of a sudden they all stopped. They got out of their Jeeps. The guy in front of me walked back to me. The guy behind me walked up to me and they were like, you got this. You can do this. We wouldn't take you anywhere that you would be in danger. We're not upset that you're freaking out. Just take a deep breath. And they were so amazing. And I got over that hurdle, and then the whole week out in Moab was just like the greatest week ever. And I turned my biggest fear into my greatest passion. And I've been back to Moab so many times. But when I got home, I would tell people that story, and someone said, you know, that sounds like The Little Engine That Could, you know? And I was like, kind of does. And they're like, you should
Yeah.
turn that into a children's book. And I was like, that's a great idea. Not knowing that, you know, hiring an illustrator was going to cost thousands of dollars and it would be a huge project and it would take years to break even. But it's been so much fun, you know, and kids love the book and I love to give away the book to kids and stuff. So it's been a blast.
And where are those available?
All my books are on Amazon.com
Okay,
or
good.
at djsoffroadadventures.com.
Okay, good. Now I have a very important question. Why do Jeep owners give each other ducks? What is that? Where did that come from? Do you know? Like, are you one of those people that does it, and why?
So it was started by this really sweet lady several years ago who just thought it would be a cool way of saying, I think your rig is really cool. And she put a little
Mm.
duck and she put a hashtag duck duck Jeep on there, a little note saying, I think your Jeep's cool. And it just caught on. It just caught on
That's
like
really sweet.
crazy. And everybody and their brother is buying buckets and buckets of ducks from Amazon.com and putting little tags on them and handing them out. And I did it for a while, you know, and I actually would put a little card promoting my book on the duck, you know. But it's kind of gotten a little out of control. I think people in the Jeep community will tell you like enough's enough. I've got enough ducks. When I get a duck now, I just turn around and give it away. And but you
That's
know,
smart.
it's kind of fun to come out to your Jeep and see a duck sitting on it and somebody's admired your vehicle. It's kind of cute.
Yeah, I mean, I see dashboards full of them, and I'm like, I don't understand, like some sort of secret underground cult that y'all are in. I didn't really get it. But now I know. So now I feel better. I can sleep better tonight.
Well, here's a
Um,
little secret. If you see that many ducks on someone's dash or you're on their, yeah, you probably know they don't go off road very often because those ducks would just
oh
fly.
yeah,
Like it's so bouncy. Like I keep one duck. It's a Deadpool duck right that's all I got.
That's so true. So true. What do you love most about your life right now?
Oh, what do I love about my life? Hmm. Definitely my family. Yeah, I have a super cool wife who's been incredibly patient and supportive of me. She's just smart and beautiful and friendly and just she's amazing. And then I could go on and on about my kids. My son's 24. He just got engaged and bought a house and it's just, you know, becoming the man that I always hoped he would
Mhm.
be, you know. And then my daughter, forget about it. She's going to change the world. She's just outgoing, a leader, and just being around them and seeing them grow and become adults is just the best. That's my favorite thing about my life right now.
That's so fun. Do you have any big plans for 2025? Anything you're working on?
You know, my wife and I are empty nesters, so we've been remodeling the basement, and I think we're just trying to figure out what it means to just be the two of us again. So
Yeah.
that's kind of our main focus.
Well, when you do decide to ride again, please come back and talk about it. I'd love to have you.
You're very nice. Thank you. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, what's the best way that people can connect with you and follow you?
hang on, before we finish things, I have to
Yeah.
tell you, I go on a handful of podcasts, and I'm a podcast host, right? So I try to learn a little bit about my guests before they come on, or I try to watch an episode or two of a podcast before I am on it. I mentioned to you that I watched your episode with Clementine this morning, and I
Yeah.
have to say, when you first started, I was like, this guy is just talking about Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and where's he going with this? And when's the guest going to be on? But I was like, and I always say, well, why do people tune into this particular podcast? Because there's so many of them, right? And I just immediately fell in love with your personality. Like,
Oh,
you are the exact right guy to be hosting a podcast. You
oh,
should
wow.
you should have your own talk show. Like, you have such a fun demeanor, and you ask great questions. And I just wanted to tell you that before we.
Well, I appreciate that. You're gonna, and now I don't. Let's turn it back on you, shall we? This is why I'm the host. I get to ask the questions and say the stories, and
Don't you
then
dare cut that. Don't you dare cut.
I listen, and then I'm keeping it all in, everything you've said. That's funny. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
You're
I
welcome.
love doing this. I love connecting. I love hearing people's stories and giving people that platform.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to business.
Okay.
Where do people connect with you and follow you?
Well, what I do for a living is digital marketing. So I'm pretty easy to find. If you just look up David McBee on the internet, I basically own the search engine results. Or you can go to davidmcbee.com. And if you go to davidmcbee.com, there's a button in the top right corner. This is like, it's a link to all my social media, all my YouTube channels, like the whole works. It's all there.
You've been a blast. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you. We will take a break and we'll be right back after this. Don't go away.
You know what would be better than watching this commercial? Watching your commercial. Scan the QR code or visit makeyourdayricher.com/advertising to start promoting today.
All right, that's it, everyone. Go make your day richer. Go make someone else's day richer. You've made mine by watching this show, and I love you for it. Now's a good time to share. Just share this. Just click the button. It'll be really fast. On tomorrow's show, we are talking about the power to speak naked with Sean Tyler Foley. All new tomorrow. So thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.